Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. For me, the most important is Ambal. It is not enough if the house, dress, and body are clean. It is most important that the mind should be clean, without a blemish. For this, the only help is to meditate on Sakshat Parashakti, the consort of Parameshwara. We will be cleansed of all dirt and become complete without a want or flaw. The fact that we are born as human beings with incapacity, inefficiency, and insufficiency is her play only. To make us complete is also her responsibility only. Instead of living and dying like animals and going through so many life forms so as to enable us to get out of this cycle of repeated births and deaths, all the religions of this world have evolved. There is no religion required other than devotion to Mother. This meditation on Parashakti is good enough to give us contentment and completeness. Once this happens, by continuous and relentless dhyana on her, to any of us, our religion will grow on its own. We do not need any publicity or propaganda. Why am I talking all this? Instead of giving lectures, if I simply meditate on her, that will do most sufficiently. To meditate on her is far superior to giving lectures. But as I keep talking about her, I am aware that I am being cleansed. I keep giving these talks so that at least one of us may attain to total Purnatvam. The end of all matters religious is to get rid of all our inefficiencies and deficiencies and get contentment. For each one of us to preserve in this path, let her give the necessary power and mind. When we sit down to meditate on her, we become aware of our deficiencies. In one way, this awareness is good. Then we will be able to pray to her saying, Mother, this is what is wrong with me. Please enable me to be rid of this. Whenever I find something wrong with myself, I beseech Mother like this so that I will be that much better at least thenceforth. If I have faults, it is hypocrisy on my part to give lectures. It is tantamount to duping you all. With Mother's grace, if I become a realized soul, then preaching is redundant. Without opening my mouth, by being silent, all preaching will occur. So, in both cases, whether I attain to Purnatvam or remain short of it, my lectures are not warranted. In any case, it is hypocrisy to talk without myself attaining to jnana, and in the other, it is unnecessary to talk after attaining to jnana. So, why am I talking? If I use all this time that I am spending in lecturing for meditation, it would be much useful and beneficial to me and all concerned. Similarly, for you too, the time could be better spent in her dhyana instead of listening to me. But what am I to do? The reason for my talking is a dream, a desire, a sincere wish that by this process, maybe one of us is motivated to attain that perfection, and millions would automatically benefit immensely. By preaching individual experience, that is, Atma Anubhava, does not happen and religion does not grow. Preaching is only a temporary gratification. In this careworn life, by my preaching, even if I am able to give you some temporary relief, to that extent, I am somewhat satisfied. So I preach. If I do not talk and keep quiet, that will cause heartburn and disappointment to you all. So I talk. But more important it is to make the temporary into permanent. The only way for that is to make our minds dwell on her lotus feet. For me, she is important. My mind is intermittently constantly and continuously in her dhyana for the sake of world peace, understanding, and well being. You all should be doing that. You all should be meditating on her. Our religion cannot be hurt by other religions. It will not be damaged by agnosticism either. Only by deficiencies in our practice of the religion, by letting our karma anushtana go by default, this whole system can come to a grinding halt. When there is less power in the body, it is prone to weaknesses. When weakness affects the immunosystem, infection takes place. Similarly, when we fail to carry out our daily and periodic observances of religious duties, and when we fail to live up to our dharma of moral and social righteousness and behave inhumanly towards others, all diseases such as converting to other religions and agnosticism occurs. Now, KTSV adds, Nitya Karma Anushtanam does not mean anything requiring superhuman efforts. For Brahmins, it is more rigorous. Sandhya Vandanam, Brahma Yagyam, daily puja, meditation, and Pitru Karyam on occasions will suffice. For Brahmins who are practicing for conducting rituals for the members of the society, it may take more time, but that is their profession. Depending on individual preference, one may take 2 hours for the daily puja or spend hours in meditation. That is his choice. For non Brahmins, it is much easier. For them, work is worship. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Whatever is offered in love and sincerity, I accept. Pushpam, phalam, toyam will do, meaning flowers, fruits, and or a little bit of water. So we do not have to make a big issue out of Nitya Karma Anushtana. Then one can make an occasional visit to temples. Again, on more spaced out occasions, we can do Kshetradana, which is visit to outstations of religious significance. It is enough to practice Karma Anushtana and spend some time in dhyana or meditation of mother's feet as often as possible. A person who does meditation like this will never face unsurmountable difficulties. He will have the power and strength of mind to face problems of life. We have the key for happy living. We do not have to do very big things. We do not have to climb Mount Everest. First of all, try and live by some moral standards. The very decision not to be sinful takes you far. When we do a mistake, we should sincerely pray to Mother to save us from repetition. Let us progress with clarity individually. As we progress with contentment in our hearts, by her grace, we will automatically influence others without trying. That will benefit this religion. Since this religion believes in the common welfare of the whole world, all people of all the countries will benefit automatically by our religiousness. All religions aim at nirvana or moksham as the end mission. To realize the essential truth in personal experience is moksham. That Paramasatyam is Brahma, says our religion. The Brahma's Chit Shakti is Ambal. By her grace, we will be experiencing the truth to be inclusive of ourselves too, says Vedantam. Ambal, who sanctions much in this world, finally sanctions this knowledge, this jnana. By her grace, we can realize that even when involved, we are apart. By being devoted to her, this awareness becomes apparent and all doubts vanish into nothingness, say all Vedas, Granthas, Upanishads, Shlokas, and Stutis. We have also come across scores of great Gyanis who have covered this path before us. What we have to do to start with is to do dhyana on her feet a little bit initially, slowly but steadily. Initially, we will start getting a taste of it. then we will come to realize that nothing else is worthy of effort and attention. Then, as you carry on, death of the body will be of no consequence, as the prayer says, Mrityur ma amrutam gamaya, meaning, lead me from death unto immortality. You will know that death cannot kill you because you are forever. Before advising and correcting others, it is enough if we abstain from immorality and sin. For this itself, surrender to her is required. Easily she will guard us from temptation and errant behavior. We have the key for the gates of Shangri La in our hands, that is Dhyanam. You should all pray to her for your and everybody else's well being. This by itself is sufficient. The worlds and the universe will all flourish and thrive. There is God. Avvai Patti has said, Annayum Pitavum Munnari Deivam, meaning that mother and father are the first known gods. Among the two first known gods, also she places mother first. Taittiriya Upanishad also says that mother, father, guru, and guests are to be treated, respected, and known as gods. Matra Devo Bhava, Pitra Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atiti Devo Bhava. If we can think of our own mother as God, in turn, we can also think of God as the mother, the supreme intelligent power that is creating, nurturing, and ruling all the worlds and the universe when thought of as the mother. We call her Ambal, the Paramatma who has become all the varieties of existence, can and does come to us in whatever form we invite and pray. The Paramatma has that capability and grace. If we pray that the very Parabrahmam itself should come to us as our mother and grant all our wishes, it comes accordingly. There is a special quality in thinking of God as the mother and ourselves as her children. You know that in nature, the mutual mother child relationship is something special. So, when we think of God as the mother, the relationship is pure, happy, and unconditional love. When we think of God as our mother, anger and passion disappear on their own. Our crookedness goes and we become childlike. We are not doing any favor to God by thinking of Him as the mother. In reality, He is like a mother to all life forms. If we have to consider our biological mother in this life as God, God who is standing by us in all our lifetimes should be treated as the mother, certainly. Our biological mother is the Amma of 2 or 3 children. Ambal is the mother of for all generations, for all lifetimes. She is the mother for all life forms, from the micro to the macro level, to all birds, animals, humans, worms, insects, germs, grass, plants, trees, creepers, and everything animate and inanimate. When you think of God as the mother, we will know that she is the only mother and all of us are her children. We will feel universal brotherhood towards all life forms and we will want to embrace all with no exception. Even devatas, deities, avatara, purushas, God incarnations, and great Mahatmas have approached God from this perspective and obtained salvation. Adi Shankara, Kalidasa, Bana, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and many more can be quoted as examples who have considered God as their mother. Kalidasa got his illustrious literary capability by her grace only. Thirugyana Sambandar was breastfed by mother herself and thus got the highest jnana. Mother, who gives all health, wealth, name, and fame, also gives jnana and power of speech. The power of written and spoken expression is hers because she is Akshara Swarupam, that is, of the form of alphabets and phonetics. We are made up of the 5 basic elements of space, air, water, fire, and earth, combining in various proportions superimposed with sattva, rajo, and tamogunas, seemingly made of blood, bones, flesh, nerves, mucus, hair, etc. If we are scratched in the surface or deeper, what is revealed is a gory sight. But she is made of alphabets and phonetics. That is why Devi Upasakars, those devotees who approach God as a child, would go to its mother, are endowed with the gift of very powerful spoken and written expressions. Being the mother of all space and time, or in other words, the mother of all worlds for all times, her grace is capable of lifting up anybody, however small or downtrodden he or she may be. To earn this love, all that we have to do is to approach her with love. The Akshara Brahman should be adored with words. As a child adopts or copies the mother in speech and style, we will imbibe her ways and being. As we carry on doing this, we will become her Swarupa, that is, we will become indistinguishable from her to this extent that we will spontaneously be giving the same love and happiness to all people at all times. Meditation on Mother's feet. There are three main functions of God. They are creation, nurturing, and destruction. The last kritya of destruction may not be misunderstood. Since all that is created is not from an outside source, at the time of pralaya, at the end of creation, all is reabsorbed. What is destroyed is not something of a material or life form, but the separateness. To do these three major jobs, the same Paramatma takes three forms as Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra. With form, it has to have characteristics of color, shape, and distinctive traits. When this figure 3 is crossed, the cause of all this is the fourth Parashakti, the power behind all, that is Turiya. If we merge our minds in the Turiya, we are released immediately. As we are too involved in the ways of the world, there is no time to think of the Turiya, and we do not have the maturity for Mantra Dhyana and Rupa Dhyana. Turiya is anyhow beyond our scope now. Let us look at meditation on Mantra and Rupa. Maturity comes with practice. So, to gain practice, we have to start somewhere. That is the first step, which will be taken if it is interesting and pleasant. There is such a first step in the direction of Adhyatma, meaning self study, that is the lotus feet of Ambal. We can start this straight away with no hesitation or second thought. If we can think of the lotus feet of Ambal, its beauty and pleasantness once, our mind will want more and more of it. Thus, if we do this all the time, Jnani will grant Jnana Nivritti. Initially, we can read shlokas that talk of her qualities and greatness. So, the first step is Parayanam or reading, then Japa, that is chanting mantras. When we are chanting or doing dhyana like this in our inner minds, the only residual thought should be, Mother, let me keep at it till there is life in this body. You grant me that even at the moment of death, I should be thinking of your feet only. Thus, as we carry on doing this every day, at that split second of our death too, the thought will be with us and we will be rid of the cycle of repeated birth and death, merging in her feet forever. Devi and Guru are one. Their Tiruvadi is one. The adornment in their feet is Paduka. Devi's and Guru's Paduka is the same. As per Shastra, we are to meditate on Guru Paduka in the Chandra Mandala. As per Shastra, Amritam pours from the moon. The sun may have brightness of its own. He gives us the light. Still, that heat becomes us thirsty. It makes us sweat. Ambal's brightness gives light as well as removes tapam, meaning a feeling of wanting or missing. Ambal's light is like that of the moon. It removes tapam and makes us feel wholesome. Amritam does that. Ambal's glance and lotus feet do that. We who have lived in the tropics have a preference for coolness. Europeans would say the opposite. For them, responsiveness is being warm hearted because of obvious reasons of their average temperature being very cold. If not received properly, they will call it a cold reception. A person who is cruel would be known as cold hearted. Amma's feet are cold. Ambal removes our fretfulness and cools us as the rays of the pleasant moon. In many places in the religious literature, Ambal is said to reside in the Chandra Mandala, that is the region of the moon. Let us meditate on her feet and attain to permanent, everlasting happiness. Nature dupes, Ambal is fooling. Human beings are subject to a variety of desires, attachments, and passions. When desires are fulfilled, it gives much satisfaction. But does the happiness last long? No. Another want has already taken its place. A series of desires are lined up like a flow. So, running from pillar to post as a process carries on. In between, there are some satisfactions and celebrations of achievements. In one way, this is Mother's grace. From another angle, this is her sleight of hand, a trick that she is playing to keep us at it. When man loves somebody and the other responds favorably, he becomes extremely thrilled. He gets married, begets children, and feels that his desires have been met with. When he lifts the baby and talks sweet nothings to it, and the baby responds with some peculiar blabber, he touches seventh heaven. He feels that the baby is extremely fond of him and so takes care of the baby more. Man takes this lust, love, and passion is all meant for his happiness. That is not the only reason for the existence of desire. Can the tree help producing the fruit and seed? It is all meant for the process of nature to continue. Many jivas are yet to be born, work out their karmas, move towards higher and yet higher refinement, and finally attain to moksha. For that purpose, there is lust, love, passion, marriage, and progeny. But he thinks that it is all for his sake. One poet even said, Ethane kodi inbam vaittai iraiva, meaning, O God, how many crores of happiness you have kept in this world of existence. Thus, Mother Nature dupes us, Mother fools us. Man is duped in many ways. What variety of eatables? He eats to his full and feels satisfied. Was it all meant for his tongue only? He has to live. The body has to grow. If all of it tastes the same, he will get bored of eating. So, nature has embedded and made available a variety of tasty materials that is palatable. Nature makes him eat and also makes him feel happy for having done so. So, to experience the karma effects, he conveniently nurtures the body. The pride, passion, attraction, and attachment that he has for his own child is never felt, let alone shown towards neighbor's child. Mine is a mind that generates a special love that enables him to bath, clothe, feed, and takes all the care. He earns more to bring up the child, educate, and even try to give all his best for its well being. This special attachment for one's family and progeny is nature's compulsion on the individual. Ambal has made this happen for the sake of the next and yet another generation. I said that for one body to be born and grow, Ambal has kept karma and attachment in him. For the body to grow, She has kept hunger, taste, and a variety of palatable materials. You are likely to wonder on the following lines: what is the use of all this? What for? How does it matter whether man lives or produces another child? Other than working off the effects of old karmas, no other purpose seems to be served. Neither has this man attained to the so called mukti or moksham, nor the next generation. Generally, we see that everyone seems to go by the same route. Every newborn is initially innocent, then successively, progressively, there is regression. They all fall prey to all the temptations and pitfalls of passion, anger, greed, delusion, madness, and habits. So we end up doing more bad karma, making it possible for more life to be born ad infinitum, ad nauseum. You do not have to think like this. A mango tree gives many fruits. The purpose of the fruit is to bear the seed for the next tree. If all the seeds become another tree, there will be no place on earth for anything else. Are we not satisfied? If one of the seeds among thousands becomes another tree, do we feel bad that all the other seeds have been wasted? Exactly similarly, among millions or zillions, if one attains to perfection, that is enough. That is the purpose of all creation. That one will do. That one Atma among crores, if raised to attain to totality of perfection and fullness, rest of us have served the purpose. All the passion and love, desire and preference is for that to happen. The purpose of all creation is that. You may or may not have seen Uriyadi Utsavam. A well polished wooden pole, huge and tall, would have been planted on the ground. It would be dripping wet with oil. Many youngsters in their undies would try to climb the pole. There will be many slipping and falling after much effort. The crowd will enjoy every moment of it, including partial successes, ending in all sorts of contortions and falls. But when one person reaches the top, the entire audience will feel thrilled as though it is their own success. Like the man who never gave up despite many falls, let us all keep at it to reach Atmagyana, Mukti, Moksha, Nirvana, self realization. The one to be lifted to perfection amongst us all. Ambal will give him the wherewithal for that one to be relieved from this delusion is enough for all of us. It is all fun and play of mother all along the way. Makshi. Without an iota of work, the self satisfied within experiencing itself, sans responsibility, sans colors, traits, characteristics, and shape that Brahman is Shiva or Shivam. From it, all the universe, galaxies, stars, planets, oceans, mountains, plains, rivers, and all life forms of so many types, shapes, sizes, colors, smells, traits have all evolved by the power of Maya. That power of Maya, which shows the one reality in as many is Ambal. We have come into being by that power. Actually, we are not different from the Brahman, but we think that we are different. This thinking is also due to Maya. To subject us to her power of Maya is her amusement, called Leela. Not only does she thus subject all of us to Maya and keep us bound, if we pray to her sincerely and truly, she can relieve us from all ties, remove the imposition of Maya, and grant Brahma Jnanam. 2. To attain to Brahma Jnanam, there is no other recourse by her. It is she who creates this delusion, hiding the existing, one Brahman and displaying the multivarious Prapancham. To get relieved from this play of samsara, this cycle of birth and death, and if we are to get to know our reality, only her grace can do. She is the power of Maya. She has to become the Jnanambikai for us. Maya means that which is not, making a show of non reality. How the non existent thing plays merry with our lives. It is never and it never is. It is like the play of light and darkness. Till the light of Jnanam arrives, darkness of Ajnanam does not go. Till then, looking at all the variety of existence, we think that they are all for real individually and separately. Some that we like, we desire them, and some we do not like, we hate them. This leads to many avoidable actions on our part, some good and some bad. Thus, we accumulate a bundle of effects of negative and positive actions called karma vinay. Since this karma vinay is of our making, we have to experience these effects, some good and some bad. To do so, we take many lives, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare sayanam. By praying to her, when we get jnanam, we will know that you, me, he and she, this, that, and everything is one only. Though the appearances are many, intrinsically they are all one only. Once we know this, likes and dislikes on the appearances will cease to be. The change is in us and not in the world. Our attention shifts from the appearances to the real. So, no more likes and no more dislikes either. One mind melts into a non entity and merges in the permanent, basic reality. The world disappears from our view as our vision is focused on the real. So, in the Jnana Marga or the path of knowledge, what disappears is Maya, which till that moment was making us dance like a puppet on a string. Ambal is the power of Maya, and she is the one to give us Jnanam too. It is her grace, however much she plays with us, she has the power to release us from its effects too. When we think about this in depth, what we see is that in the Maya world, even when the truth is staring in our face, we like to be deluded and remain under its effects, seemingly. So the delusion is of our making only. Our mind and the five senses have this propensity to get involved with the unreal. So we give into the senses and the dictates of the mind, continuing the cycle of birth, karma, accumulation. Death, birth, again karma, again death, again endlessly. Thus, we are unaware of our own reality. To relieve us from this vicious cycle, she comes as Kamakshi. Kamakshi has four hands. In one, she holds a bow. That bow is made of karumbu, that is sugar cane. In the other hand, she holds five arrows made of flowers. Normally, the bow is made up of strong bamboo or some metal rod, but hers is the soft and sweet sugar cane. Instead of sharp arrows, her arrows are made of flowers. Ambal, with the sweet heart of hers, attracts our minds into amiability. Her arrows of flowers pulls our five senses into inaction. Lalita Sahasranamam describes this. Manorupeksha Kodanda Panchatanmatra Sayaka. To still our minds and stun our senses, she is using sugarcane bow and flower arrows. In the other two hands, she is holding pasam and ankusham. Pasam is the rope by which we are tied. Ankusham is the sharp instrument to prod us into submission as used by the keeper of elephants, Mahot. We are tied up inextricably with too many connections of involvement with the world. She relieves us from those connections by untying all the knots, by connects us only with the real, by that possum held in her hands. This human mind is worse than a horde of elephants. So the Ankusham is to prod this mind into submission. Lalita Sahasramam says, Raga Swarupa Pasadya Krodha Karankushojvala. Thus Kamakshi Ambal, holding sugarcane bow, arrows made of flowers, pasam and ankusham, respectively in the four hands, from the colorless Brahman, comes as red as morning, Aruna of the eastern sky, just prior to sunrise, as red as the saffron flowers or the flowers of the tree called flame of the forest, for the specific purpose of granting jnana to the deluded souls of this world. Om Shri Mahaperiva Sharanam.